Hey everybody, hi Marriage Movement.
Marriage Movement in the house.
Today has been a fun day in Marriage Movement. How many of you guys have shouted out your spouse with a special award trophy? It's been super fun. What'd you say?
I said it was her idea, your idea, Blair. Hey Danny.
Hi.
It was amazing.
It was so fun to see what you guys are like. Ultra creative. I have to say that.
Hey,
I absolutely love it. Oh, hi guys. Hi Jackie. Awesome. So excited to see you guys hopping on here. All right. So for those of you that did not go and make an award for your spouse today, even if they're not in Marriage Movement, make sure you shout them out with what would their trophy be? What would their award be?
So many trophies handed out today.
Right?
What was your favorite?
Oh my gosh, I was just trying to think of that.
I knew you were. I knew it.
There were some really good ones.
Did you even see the one I gave you, the Energizer Bunny?
Yes, that was really sweet. I loved it. And I think honestly, Ryan, this might not be Ryan's favorite, but I love the one that said like her husband was the best cat dad. I can't remember what it was now.
Cat dad.
But I thought that was the sweetest thing ever.
Cat dad.
It was super
cute. My other favorite was Dancing Dad. Dance Dad?
Oh, I missed that one. Is that Kyle Yoakum?
Oh, John, drive safely, please. I don't want to be responsible for anything.
Lots of you guys tuned in because you're probably like, what are they talking about the wall? Like, what does everybody need to know about the wall? So you guys are probably wondering, like, what kind of wall, right? We're not talking about our new wall. Do you guys like our new wall? I mean, I had to get it, had a heart on it, right? I mean, how appropriate.
Yes.
Give me some hearts if you guys like our new backdrop.
Yes,
right? Super exciting.
We're not talking about Pink Floyd's
we're also not talking about Ryan's favorite Pink Floyd, The Wall. Nope.
Didn't care for the movie. Loved the album.
Yes, I know.
And the group.
Now my kids even know how to sing that song.
Another Brick in the Wall.
Yeah.
They just like that. We don't need
the teachers. Yeah.
We don't need no education.
We don't need no education. How many of you guys love Pink Floyd? Honestly, right? Okay. All right. We'll get to the subject tonight. We are talking about.
Wait, super funny story.
Oh, okay, sure.
I named my dog Floyd.
Oh yeah, this is the best.
Okay. We got a little puppy a long time ago. It's way back. He's since passed. But I named the dog Floyd, and my mom thought it was after the golfer Raymond Floyd.
Oh yeah, so I have like a house full of women for, I think it was like a Bible study or something, and somebody goes, oh, why'd you name him Floyd? And my mother-in-law, before I can even speak, goes, oh, after the golfer. Somebody, what was his name? Something Floyd.
Raymond Floyd.
Raymond Floyd. And I was like, that is not why he named him Floyd. Like, he named him Floyd after Pink Floyd.
Right. in a black room with blue lights.
Amazing. All right, so tonight we're talking about irritation, frustration, emotional stacking, stonewalling, right? You know, the wall that you use to keep people out, right? So seriously, what kind of wall did you guys think we were talking about tonight? That's what I'm curious about. Because when we first named it, I was giggling, right? Because there's a lot of talk about walls lately.
No doubt.
A lot of talk about walls. But we're talking about emotional stacking and the walls that we put up. So Ryan, you were just sharing with me something that you heard an expert say about 5 times. Can you share that with everybody?
Yes, absolutely. So I read, in order to have a good relationship, you need to have 5 positive communications for every 1 negative, okay? So if you want to have a great relationship, which we all do here in Marriage Movement, then you have to have more than a 5-to-1 ratio on positive communication to negative communication.
Wow, and that's not easy, right? Like, let's be honest. So we're going to talk a little bit about, sorry, go ahead. It's
easy, it's not simple.
Good point.
Right? You just got to focus on it. Be intentional about it.
Right.
That's all.
So how do you keep, drop the mic. So how do you keep yourself from being irritated, frustrated, then leading to emotional stacking, stonewalling? Like, can you kind of explain maybe a little bit more about like what is emotional stacking?
Well, I think, basically from that book that we read, we went through the 4R's, okay? So Blair and I, we have a lot of interactions throughout the day, as all of you can imagine, especially when we're working together. And so what's awesome is like when we're doing research, right, we're reading these books, and I'll read, like today I read about the 4R's, which is...
Oh, shout out, let's say who it's from. I've got to read it so I don't get it wrong, because we didn't read all of her book. But it's by Barbara D'Angelo, and the book is called Ask Barbara, the 100 Most Asked Questions About Love, Sex, and Relationships.
Yep. And the 4R's, do it that way. The
4R's.
The first is resentment.
No, it's resistance.
Whoa, see, I got it wrong. The first is resistance. The second is
that leads to
resentment.
That
then we're going to
rejection. Which
and
then leads to
repression.
Yeah, you got
I
it.
get it?
You got that one.
I had a lot of fun listening to Pink Floyd albums. And therefore my memory isn't what it should be.
I think they all know your story.
This is your brain. That's your brain. This is your brain after drugs.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Okay, so we're going to go through resistance,
Let's do it.
resentment, rejection, repression. Because here's the truth, right? When you are resisting something, your partner does something that annoys you, frustrates you, makes you upset, hurts your feelings, and you don't voice that, then it leads to resentment. Right? And then how people deal with resentment is all different. But then the next phase then comes to rejection. Right? Now you're rejecting your partner because you've built up the resistance and the resentment. And then the last thing is repression. You're going to fill that void with something else. Maybe it's your friends. Maybe it's your work. Maybe it's your kids. I actually see it more than anything else with the women that I'm associated with, the women that I meet. I find that they fill it most often with their kids.
Right. I'm
more
just
than
gonna
anything else.
Pour myself into the kids. Right?
Yeah. So because that's where they're getting the love, the attention, the desires, you know, all that. Right. So it can also happen from work. It can also happen from friends, family, whatever. So let's I thought it would be fun if we used a personal example. Dun, dun, dun. I feel like we need I need music over here on a keyboard where I hit it and make it do the right noise.
Where's Glenn Lundy when we need him? He's got that cool keyboard and dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. So anyway, real life example.
Real life example.
Do we dare?
Yep, do it.
Okay, so
I mean, this is hypothetical.
Oh yeah, it's not.
It's not.
It was yesterday. Okay, let's be honest. So it's yesterday. So Blair and I spend a lot of time working together, and let's just.
How many of you guys out there work together? Sorry. If you work together, drop it below in the comments. We're super curious.
Yes,
and if you literally this week have hit one of these R's, resistance, resentment, rejection, or repression, I want you to put which one below in the comments.
Okay, awesome.
Sorry.
So we're sitting next to each other and we're working. And let's just say that Blair's tone was less than kind in a response to something that I said. And so then I was like, okay. So I just kind of let it go. But inside, it bothered me. It really bothered me. So that was the first R, right?
But I didn't know it bothered her.
She had no idea, okay? So then a little bit later in the day, I start to get a little snippy with her because I'm still annoyed and stacking, emotional stacking. I've stacked that up from earlier in the day and it's built up. Right. So I just start to snap back at her. And then what happens when I snap at Blair?
I'm like, Blair, what's going on?
She's annoyed that I'm snapping at her. She has no idea. So she's not a mind reader. So then we're both kind of snapping at each other for no reason.
Well, or sometimes it leads to rejection, which I call the cold shoulder.
Right.
Right? So it's all of a sudden now he's being cold,
one-word answers.
One-word answers, or walking by. It's just I can totally tell he's trying to play the I'm not going to talk to you card, and I don't really even know what's going on. I'm I don't know what's going on. And my favorite line is, when I ask, is, well, you really don't know?
I can't believe you don't even know.
How many of you guys have ever heard that line before?
You don't remember 6 hours ago when you were short with me?
Right.
Little nap and a nasty tone? How can you not remember that?
I want you guys to really think about this, right? So how does that start to stack up, right, to the other person? Because I, again, don't even know what I originally did wrong. Didn't even realize I was doing anything wrong because honestly, I was probably doing 5 or 10 things at the same time. That's my personality.
Probably 22 things.
So while I'm doing a bunch of things at the same time, I do get very short and rude. And sometimes things come out of my mouth that are really mean. I know that because he's pointed them out to me and I'm like, I didn't say that. Right. And they'll be like, yeah, you did.
So we've learned, right, and we do touch on this in the mastermind, how to learn the skill of communication. Yeah. So that knowing that is one of Blair's weaknesses, and I shouldn't even say it's a weakness because she's literally doing 20 or 22 things at once, right? So her mind's going. And so then something comes out that it's a little shorter, or maybe it's not in the right tone that she meant. I don't say anything, but I'm not sensitive. I don't let it bother me. okay? If it's really a big deal, then a little bit later, and timing is everything here, people, okay? I will bring it up to her whenever, outside of the situation. Hey, honey, I just want to let you know that when you said that, that really hurt my feelings, and give, you know, Blair the chance to explain it.
Totally, probably first apologize, don't explain yourself, people.
Right.
First apologize if you did something wrong, and then I explain what was probably happening in that situation. But I wanted you guys to see when Ryan was just saying this to you and how we're teaching a lot of these skills in our mastermind, I was just thinking how valuable this skill is in learning so that you can be better not only as a spouse, but in your workplace, to your family, if you have children. I mean, those things are so important to your team, if you're a leader. These are the skills that you need to learn in life, and we're not all taught. Believe me, in my home, my parents are amazing people, but that is the way that we were taught. Like, something annoys you, you snap, you bring it up, you say it immediately, you like yell at somebody and you get it out. Well, you know, and then if Ryan has learned his behavior is to resist it, to resent it, to reject it, and
passive aggressive.
Right? So then what ends up happening is you keep, you know, shoving it down, and there becomes an explosion. So we do teach a lot of those skills and how to get through that through the mastermind. But I want you to think about how it's valuable in so many different areas. When Ryan and I were preparing for this tonight, I was telling him how our 12-year-old, this is a great example. And Ryan was like, well, I'm not sure that really is exactly what happened. And when I really laid it out, Ryan was even like, okay, you're right. So let me just kind of break this down for you, right? Because you can see it in your children. And if you can learn these skills of how to teach it to your kids, you will save them. Not only will they become great spouses one day, and your daughter or your son-in-law will thank you, but they will become great business people. They will become very empathetic. They'll
be great communicators.
People. Yeah, better in their community. Oh my gosh, can you imagine what would happen? So
yes, I love
so our 12-year-old, for example, he's very much like Ryan. And so you don't realize like you're maybe laughing. You think you're laughing
intense,
with him.
Loves to win, a little on the sensitive side.
So you think that you're laughing with him until there's a huge explosion, right? So the other night we're playing a game. The four of us are playing. My older son can be a little bit obnoxious, which makes me laugh a lot. He's just loud.
He is hilarious. It's so funny.
But it can be obnoxious for the younger one, right? So I can't stop laughing. Once my older one gets me laughing, I can't stop. I'm laughing. My older one and I are on the same team. The younger one and Ryan are on the same team, which is probably not the best combo. And it's Pictionary, right? Which everybody can agree makes you a little frustrated to begin with. So what I'm noticing—
I can't draw.
Right. So Noah's getting frustrated because Ryan's not guessing the right things, right? And then Ryan makes a comment that's like, well, both times we've gotten points, I've been the one drawing, or something like that. So then Noah, I saw Noah's face twinge, and I didn't really like, you know, Jeremiah was making me laugh on something else. I didn't stop the moment. Yeah. Well, then we keep going, we keep going, we keep going. They're losing. Things aren't going their way. Jeremiah's cracking jokes about it. All of a sudden,
jokes.
Noah explodes. Like, we're talking game pieces go everywhere. He's mad. He's running to his room. You could tell there's tears in his eyes. Yeah. And I'm like, terrible. Yeah, you feel terrible because all of a sudden there's this huge explosion. So once he calmed down and I was able to talk it through with him, he was like, well, it started when Dad said that the only reason that we were winning is because he was guessing answers, which means I stink. I'm not good at this game. And that wasn't what Ryan meant at all, but that's how he took it. So if he had learned the skill of stop in that moment and say, that's not true. We're not winning because that's not the only reason. Or that was mean, that hurt my feelings, or just something, then it would have stopped right then and there. I can guarantee you that Jeremiah and I wouldn't have kept laughing because we would have heard that it was serious to him. Yeah. And so it's like this snowballing effect, right? Totally. So what ended up happening, he resisted the way he felt. Then he put up resentment. Then he put up that he felt rejected, and then it was repression. Explosion. And for him, it was an explosion. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyways, so that was kind of—
I hate seeing that.
Oh, totally.
And, you know, for Noah especially, because I know how sensitive he is. I would never, ever, ever say that. But isn't that true in marriage too? Like, sometimes the things that come out of our mouth, we don't mean them that way. We don't mean to say them in that tone. We don't mean the words. And if the other person knows how much we love them, gives us a little grace, and just kind of absorbs it, right? And then maybe addresses it later or communicates it. How many fights and, like, honestly, days of fights or sleepless nights or just that tension, that uncomfortable. I can remember the few fights that we have that have lasted more than a night. That pit in your stomach, it's nauseating. And it doesn't matter how good of a day you have at work or what you're doing. When things aren't right in your marriage, when things aren't right at home, your whole life is going to be affected.
Totally. And that's so true. So we're excited to be able to teach you guys some of those skills. Yes. If you're loving the 21-day challenge right now and you're like, this is awesome, I like it, that is literally just the beginning. That's like the tip of the iceberg, or like the appetizer. I love you said the other day, it's like the appetizer.
Right.
How the really great skills and things that we're going to be teaching are in that 6-week mastermind. So if this sounds like something you're interested in learning more about, I've had a few people reach out, so I just wanted to point this out on here and say, they've said, hey, what if my partner is not willing to do the 6-week mastermind with me? The change begins with you. So I would highly suggest getting in it yourself, and seeing the changes will allow the other person to notice, right? That's what happened with us.
Totally happened with us. Blair became the change that she wanted to see in me. She believed in me. That was step number 1. She forgave me, and she believed in me, and then she just showered me with gratitude and affirmations, because she believed in the marriage that we could have, right? That the husband I should be, the father I should be, the man I should be to my friends, right? She believed in that, and that confidence right there changed our relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I think week 1 we go into that about, you know, like your self, like how you need to grow, and personal development and growth in yourself. And so even if it's just you in there, you will get a ton out of it.
Absolutely.
Am I supposed to say that much? No, sometimes I ramble, people, because I'm writing behind the scenes and I'm super excited about it. And I want you all to come along. Every last one of you.
Absolutely. Okay, so one more time, I'm just going to go over the 4 R's that we're teaching you guys about tonight. It's resistance, resentment, rejection, and repression. All right?
And how many positive communications do we need? People, if the expectation is a good relationship, that's only 5. Nobody wants to be there.
Yeah.
So let's shoot for 10 or 15 or 20, right? 20 positive communications throughout the day for every 1 negative you have. So if you recognize a negative, you better start pounding the positive, right? We can do it.
Totally. You know
why? They can do it.
Because we're better together. First time with our new wall.
We did it. Love the wall.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. Can't wait to read the rest of those trophy and awards.
Give out the trophies.
Give out the trophies.
We need music.